May the best brand win with Scott Robertson's Music Biz Marketing Strategies. Now, here's your host, Scott Robertson.
Happy Friday, happy Friday. Hello, everybody in Intertalk Radio Land. You are tuned to May the Best Brand Win right here on Intertalk Radio, the undisputed leader in music biz talk. I am Scott. I'm your host, and I'm a guy who knows all the words to Hanson's MMMBop. Sadly. That's sad. You can be sad for me. You can be sad for the world, honestly. And, of course, with me on the air today is the man in the studio making the clock tick and the buttons light up, and that's Paul B. How you doing, my man?
I'm good, and I know all the words to Rihanna's work, 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 work.
We'll have to do that as a social post. What embarrassing song do you know all the words to? You know, I was watching, they did, ABC did some kind of a retrospective greatest hits of the 90s kind of show, and they had Hanson come up there and sing MMMBop acoustically. And they're much older now, of course, and they've all cut their hair since, but still really good. Got to say the harmonies are smoking. Should check that out if you go up to abc.com or just check on social media. You can see that acoustic version of MMMBop and see if the boys still have it.
Yeah, those kids are pretty tight,
pretty talented.
Yeah.
Well, cool. If you have a question for me, you can always email me at scott@robertsoncom.com. I get a few of those every week, and I do try to answer everything right on the show whenever possible. Try to work it into the topic. Sometimes you guys inspire me for a topic, and that's always fun. You can also find all of my posts, my client news clips, and other tidbits of fun and excitement at the RobertsonCom Facebook page. Just facebook.com/RobertsonCom, 2 M's, and or on Twitter @RobertsonCom. Follow us there. Follow me there. You can reach out and connect. Hopefully I can keep you entertained and give you some good tips for your marketing. Today, we are talking about message delivery. Communications is very exciting. And there's so many different things that you can mess around with and play with, from press releases to social media and text, to text messaging to carrier pigeons with little notes wrapped around their feet, which may or may not be cruel. I have to get a ruling from PETA on whether the carrier pigeon foot thing still flies. See, but what gets lost in all the tactics. When I go into a meeting, some people say people get just kind of what I call blinded by tactics. What gets lost is that all these tools exist for one purpose, and that's really to get the message to a target or targets. And that's easy to say, but it's in the world today, it's extremely difficult to do. Today we're going to dig into the act of message delivery. What I like to call the fundamentals. You can't be a great football team if you don't know how to hand the ball off, if you don't know how to block, if you don't know how to tackle, if you don't know how to catch, if you don't know how to do the things that are the fundamentals of the game. And if I see one mistake made time after time again in my travels, it's the fact that people lack the fundamentals of the game. And if you lack the fundamentals, you're going to get your butt handed to you on the field, just so you know. So, we're also going to give you some of the latest tips and trends that are going to help your band or your brand really hit the target without hopefully missing the point. Of course, as we do every week, we're going to dig into who's winning and losing out there. Got plenty of that insanity coming up in segment 3. So let's get into it. Sort of in the beginning, and by that I mean let's call it the 1940s, there was the communication model. Did you know that the first communications model was created by Bell? It was created by a telephone company, actually. It's called the Shannon and Weaver model of communications, and you learned it probably around the 8th grade, I would say. It was actually created. It was conceived by a guy named Claude Elwood Shannon and Warren Weaver for Bell Laboratories. That's the famous Shannon and Weaver, right? The concept really is basically that communication is the process of sending and receiving messages and transferring information from the sender to the receiver, right? You know it. You've seen it a million times. Let's review it. I find it ironic, by the way. I find it interesting, the fact that our communications has existed since the dawn of mankind, yet the first time a model was created to explain it was done by a telecommunications company. Interesting, right? Got to say. So, in that model today, as complicated as it is, as multifaceted as your communication strategy may be, as many pages of papyrus as it may occupy, there is really still just that model. There's a circle for the sender. There's a circle for the receiver. There's a nice little arrow that goes from the sender to the receiver. That's the message. There is a sometimes little squiggly lines that interrupt the arrow, and that's interference, interference, obviously. And then there's a arrow going back from the receiver to the sender, and that's called feedback. Not like in a musician's feedback, like when you go there and you hear that high-pitched, lovely sound that musicians always just sort of cringe when we hear it, but actually the good kind of feedback, the kind of feedback that you really need. So we're going to talk about that. So in today's day and age, if you can kind of see that model in your mind, we're going to kind of break that down. So, who is the sender, right? It could be a lot of things. It can be a lot of things. Obviously, this model can work to explain interpersonal communications. It can work to explain organizational communications. It's a model just designed to explain communications. And as well as people probably understand it interpersonally, for something happens at the organizational level where they seem to forget every single piece of this model. And I bring up this model as eighth grade as it might seem to everyone. I stand up in front of rooms and get paid hundreds of dollars an hour to draw little circles and put little arrows and messages. Why do I do it? Because that is the essence of communications. What we are talking about is communications. And somehow in conversations about communications, people forget to actually communicate. That's a big deal. It is a big deal to actually back up and consider that you're working through this model, even if it's organizationally, even if you're AT&T, even if you're Pepsi, even if you're Apple, even if you're whatever, you're still following the same model, the same plan. So the sender can be the organization that you work for. It can be your organization. It can be, your own organization. It can be a nonprofit organization. It can be a church. It could be a band. Let's put it in band terms. Bands need to tell their receivers, the people that are following them out there, where we're playing next. Where are we playing next? Why? Because we want people there. We like people nobody likes to play for an empty house, right? Nobody likes to launch a product and nobody buys it. Nobody likes to do all these kind of things. So that's why we do this stuff. So the sender is you, easy. The receiver, a little more complicated, right? Because now you have to make a decision as to who that receiver is. Sometimes that receiver is based on gut feelings. Sometimes that receiver is based on data. Please, Lord, let it be. And sometimes it's based on something that people can't define. Sometimes I get the message. Sometimes I go into companies when I'm consulting with them and I say, so why is this person on the list? And no one can answer me. Therein lies what I like to call the problem. The fact is, if you're out there communicating and you don't know who's on the list, you need to stop communicating. Yesterday, honestly, but at least by today would be good. Really consider the receiver. Really, 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 really important. The receiver should be a database decision. And then also, it should not just be, a list that somebody bought 20 years ago. It really, really shouldn't be that. So let's not make it that. Let's talk about the message. I spend a lot of time working on the arrow. I've done a whole show about messaging, brand messaging. To me, this is where a lot of communications breaks down to the fact that the message, has some problems. It's not deep enough, that kind of thing. But the message is really what you're trying to say. In purposes of definition, the message is this is what we're trying to say. This is what we want to get out there. Let's put it the band analogy. So sender, band, receiver, following, fans, mom, dad, those people, just so they know what we're up to still. The message, we're playing tonight. Band starts at 8:30. Maybe there's a cover charge. I don't know. But maybe we got new songs for you tonight. Something. Let's hope it's compelling. So that arrow. The little squiggly lines are the interference. And man, is there a lot of squiggly lines out there that could interfere with your message today? Lots of stuff. There are industries built on preventing marketers from getting the message to the target. Multi-billion-dollar industries that are designed to interrupt the message, right? And I don't think a lot of people think of that. They just go, oh yeah, well, I have a spam filter, but my message will get through. Will it? Are you sure? Make sure. And honestly, as I always rant on this show, the reason these industries have been able to, rise up is the fact of is irresponsible marketing, is marketers that are out there creating garbage, sending out garbage, and then people say, well, I can't, I need my email address, so I'll just block the garbage, right? And I'll just set up all these, especially mobile. We talked a couple of weeks ago on this show about all the blockers that are going up. Yeah, what is it? 85% of people now use some type of mobile ad blocking software. Shouldn't be happening. Marketers are doing their job. That's not happening. And just quickly, let's talk about feedback. We're going to dig into a little bit more in this entire show, but that feedback piece is really, really important, and it can often be ignored by marketing and communications. And so in the next segment, we're going to dig a little bit more into some of the common mistakes, in message delivery. We're talking about the communications model. We are talking about getting the message to the target. Come on back. We got a lot more exciting stuff to talk about today. See ya.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
Have you ever wondered what it's like to record on a Grammy award-winning album? Have you ever wondered what it's like to play in front of a stadium crowd? Have you ever wondered what it's like to be on a world tour? I'm Jackie Bertoni, and I've played with the who's who in the music industry, and I've toured the world. Come join my world, Behind the Velvet Rope, and get into the groove on Jackie's Groove. Live 2 p.m. Mondays and available 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com.
Hey, it's Catherine from Listen Local Radio. Moe's Guitars has proudly served the San Diego music community since 1975. Specializing in guitars, basses, mandolins, banjos, and ukuleles, they buy, sell, trade, and consign. If you're looking for lessons, repairs, accessories, and cool gear, you found the right place. Located in downtown La Mesa Village, stop by and check out their digs or visit moesguitars.com or their Facebook page. mozeguitars.com, 619-698-1185.
Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on Intertalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
Which sandwich is healthy and tasty? Which sandwich can come on bread or in a bowl? Which sandwich comes 51 different ways, so it's always your way? A which sandwich. Stop into our shop in Hazard Center. We're upstairs from the Hazard Center Digiplex. Bring in your movie ticket. We will add a free drink and chips to your sandwich order. Or order online at whichwich.com, and we will have it ready and waiting. WHICH, whichwich.com.
Has your business been appified? Are you tired of doing marketing that doesn't deliver results? Mobile apps build loyalty and quality retention. Your app from UPG Mobile puts your business on their mind and at their fingertips. UPG Mobile will give you a custom app highlighting how you are unique, targeting your message, and improving your open rates. Appify your business and amplify your presence with your customers at upgmobilemarketinggroup.com.
May the best brand win with Scott Robertson's Music Biz Marketing Strategies. Now, here's your host, Scott Robertson.
We're back talking about message delivery. How you doing? You are tuned right back to May the Best Brand Win right here on InterTalk Radio, the undisputed leader in music biz talk. I am still Scott, still the guy that is here, and a guy that performed at the San Diego Fair recently. And with me on the air is a guy that performed last week at the San Diego Fair, and that's Paul B. How was that fair?
It was fun. I hung in there. A bunch of crazy jazzers.
I saw the video that Florentino posted on Facebook. You guys picking up the pieces?
Yeah,
that was awesome.
Nice.
You guys did good. That was fun.
It was fun.
Did you know that you can take your San Diego Fair ticket and get into the OC Fair for free with that same ticket?
Nope.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, don't throw that ticket away. You can actually you could use. I read that in the OC Register this morning. You can use your Ventura County Fair ticket or your San Diego Fair ticket and get into the OC Fair, which opens up on the 15th for free.
Nice.
So it saves you some cash. OC Fair is always fun. Well, cool. Well, we are talking about message delivery, and in the first segment, we talked about the communications model invented by Bell Labs. Let you process that in any way that seems appropriate. And segment 2 here, we're gonna dig into some common mistakes in message delivery. But before I get into that, I just want to talk about the decision to communicate. I think it's a big one, and I think one of the things that separates me from a lot of communication folks out there is the fact that I don't take that decision lightly. I don't go into a client's office and go, how many different ways can we ram this down the public's throat, right? And unfortunately, I'm in the minority in that practice because, the rest of the communications profession subscribes to the theory that if a little bit of communication is good, then let's get a wheelbarrow and see how much we can fill it with and see how much we can dump on the consumer before they ultimately just get buried. Let's talk about that decision. First of all, you want to make that decision. You want to make that decision consciously every single time. You want to decide, and I don't think enough organizations do this. This is one of the big reasons that I am opposed to marketing automation and all these things that say, "Oh, it's great. We'll just send all your prospects an email every week or every other week automatically." You don't even have to think about it. Think about it. Listen to me right now. Think about it. Don't put that in the hands of automation. You will become part of this problem, this larger disease that I always talk about in communications. And it is a big deal. You can make the decision as an organization. Do we have something that is important enough to say right now that we should be, that we should be going out with this? And if the answer is yes, then Merry Christmas. Let's do this. Let's get this done. But it is a decision. It's a decision every single time, and it needs to be thought through with a lot of care. Okay? So saying that, here's a few common mistakes in message delivery. Number 1, the sender, the little circle that represents you in our little game, assumes that the receiver wants to hear from them. There is no data that supports this. So all the data in the world, and please follow up with me afterwards. Believe me, there are volumes of data that tell us that the receiver has no interest in hearing from most companies most of the time. Okay? So you should assume in every communications interaction that you're into that they don't want to hear from you. And if that is your assumption, then now why should you? Why should they? Well, why do we have something that is really great for them, right? It leads you to a better path of thinking about communications. The second mistake that I see made is that the sender has no credibility, no trust. The latest Pew research shows that 9 out of 10 people don't trust a single word that is uttered by businesses. I think I've said that on the show before, But it bears repeating because that is the lowest trust index in the history of them measuring it. Business now has the lowest amount of trust than it's ever had. You can absolutely assume, without a shadow of a doubt, that when your business is talking, people assume that you are at the very least exaggerating and more than likely lying to them. Okay? And plenty of businesses lie. They do. They shouldn't. They do. They it's not like they sit there twisting their evil mustache and they go, let's lie to the people. Well, maybe some do. But usually it comes from the fact of just they're so excited to sell you something like an eager little puppy that they over-exaggerate what it is that their particular thing does. And then they just keep on the exaggeration train, and it doesn't perform that way, and they destroy relationships, right? We all have products that, that fit that bill, companies that fit that bill. So, again, mistake number 2, sender has no credibility, no trust. By the way, if you realize, let's say you start from a position and say, okay, we have no credibility, no trust. Who does? Well, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the media does. The media do. Media have credibility and trust. And that's why the little thing that I do called public relations is so incredibly powerful. Because the media can take your message. Now, granted, we've all talked about, in the public relations episode, we talked song and verse about how difficult this is and everything else. But let's say that you've got a great story for the media, and it is a great story, and the media take it to the people. Now you've got credibility and trust. That's why it works. It's not about having the same impressions that you would have in advertising. It's about credibility and it's about trust. And the reason it is about that is because you, the company sending out a message, have none. Mistake number 3, the sender goes to the wrong receiver. They've got an email list from 10 years ago, and they just they're going to milk that sucker till the cows come home, man. No, don't do that, right? Think through the receiver. Think through who that is. Why are we communicating with this person? Are they, should they be on the list? Every single name on the list you need to be able to have a reason why they're on the list. I know people are saying, well, Scott, that's incredibly time consuming. Welcome to actual communications. It is actually very time consuming work. It is actually very, thought inducing, powerful work that requires a great deal of time to do it right. There are lots of ways to do it wrong, and there's lots of ways to do it fast, and those two things typically go together, just so you know. Just like caulking your shower fast is a bad idea. Hey, I caulked my shower in 10 minutes. Fantastic. I hope your media room isn't below it. That's what I hope, sincerely, right? Some things take time. Communications is one of those things. Another common mistake, the message just isn't very good. It's not very compelling. It's not emotional. When I come into a new client engagement, I find this all the time. Maybe it's okay. Maybe it's just like accurate. Maybe they have a message that says, this is who we are. But is it compelling? Are we really talking to the audience in the way that they want to be talked to? In the way that, is it as good as Apple's, you're more powerful than you think, right? That message isn't about Apple. That message is about you. And of course, and then down the line, it's about Apple, because the way that you get more powerful than you think and that kind of thing is through, wait for it, correct, Apple, right? That's branding. That's the message. That's the message. I find so many organizations suffer or, really just settle. Settle is a good word. They settle for a bad message, a surface level message that feels safe and feels good, but it's not very good, and you run out of story really quickly. And, dig deeper. I help my clients go deeper. Let's really talk about this audience. Let's talk about what's going on inside in their head, what's going on inside their hearts. Let's talk about what is, really there, the good stuff. The fifth kind of mistake that I see out there are the fact that the glut of messages from the sender make the receiver put up walls to block the sender, right? So obviously it's a giant problem. It's a gigantic problem that's been building, for many, many years. spam, of course. LOS have spam filters that are, growing more and more increasingly sophisticated. And of course, then sometimes your spam filter, trying to help you out and trying to pull the unwanted messages out. Well, sometimes they pull the wanted messages. I mean, I had a client that got caught in my spam filter. They were trying to tell me to do something for them, trying to instruct me to do something for them, and I didn't get the message for a few days. And they're like, "Well, why haven't you done this?" I'm like, "The message didn't get through," right? None of these walls would have been necessary had marketers behaved in a responsible fashion. I know people say, "Oh, that's idealistic. That's all these kind of things." Is it? If you just think about what you're doing, I mean, then none of this stuff would have really been necessary in the first place. And honestly, without marketers, you probably would still answer your home phone. But I guarantee you don't because of marketers. The last one I see is that the sender doesn't get or listen to feedback. They make no changes. They do marketing the same way they've been doing it since the 90s. Some companies all the way back to the 80s. They just add new technological trickery on top of a bad strategy. Feedback is really important. There's all kinds of ways for people to tell you what you're doing is working or it's not working. Make sure you listen organizationally. Make sure you set up your social feeds so that you are listening to what people are saying to you. That feedback piece is really, really important. So those are some mistakes in message delivery. Come on back in segment 3. We're going to dig into who is winning and who is losing right here on May the Best Brand Win on Intertalk Radio, the undisputed leader in music biz talk.
Hey, it's Catherine from Listen Local Radio. Moe's Guitars has proudly served the San Diego music community since 1975. Specializing in guitars, basses, mandolins, banjos, and ukuleles, they buy, sell, trade, and consign. If you're looking for lessons, repairs, accessories, and cool gear, you found the right place. Located in downtown La Mesa Village, stop by and check out their digs or visit moesguitars.com or their Facebook page. mozeguitars.com, 619-698-1185.
Which sandwich is healthy and tasty? Which sandwich can come on bread or in a bowl? Which sandwich comes 51 different ways, so it's always your way? A which sandwich. Stop into our shop in Hazard Center. We're upstairs from the Hazard Center Digiplex. Bring in your movie ticket. We will add a free drink and chips to your sandwich order. Or order online at whichwich.com and we will have it ready and waiting. WHICHWICH. Whichwich.com.
Has your business been appified? Are you tired of doing marketing that doesn't deliver results? Mobile apps build loyalty and quality retention. Your app from UPG Mobile puts your business on their mind and at their fingertips. UPG Mobile will give you a custom app highlighting how you are unique, targeting your message, and improving your open rates. Appify your business and amplify your presence with your customers at upgmobilemarketinggroup.com.
Have you ever wondered what it's like to record on a Grammy award-winning album? Have you ever wondered what it's like to play in front of a stadium crowd? Have you ever wondered what it's like to be on a world tour? I'm Jackie Bertoni, and I've played with the who's who in the music industry, and I've toured the world. Come join my world, behind the velvet rope, and get into the groove on Jackie's Groove. Live 2 p.m. Mondays and available 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on Intertalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
May the best brand win with Scott Robertson's Music Biz Marketing Strategies. Now, here's your host, Scott Robertson.
Message delivery. Happy Friday, happy Friday. You are tuned right on back to May the Best Brand Win, right here on Intertalk Radio, the undisputed leader in music biz talk. I'm still Scott, and your host, and a guy who hopefully is going to win that Mega Millions California jackpot tonight at 8 o'clock. That's what I'm talking about. Paul's hoping he wins it as well. Paul in the studio. Paul B., how's it going?
Good. We can't both win it now, can we?
Depends on the pool of tickets that we purchased. Did you get your Mega Millions tickets?
No. I'm not in the loop.
You have till 7:45. It's $540 million.
I can spend that in one weekend.
Exactly. One big weekend in Vegas, and it's totally spent. That's what I'm saying. Well, cool. We are talking about message delivery. We have been talking about the communications model, a few common mistakes in message delivery. In segment 3, we'd like to kind of shift gears and talk about who's winning and losing out there in the big world. So, first up, I definitely want to say that, I'm usually not very political on this show, but I think that there's something communications-wise to say about what's going on, in our world right now, with the police shootings and both the two incidents from New Orleans and Minnesota that happened this week, and as well as the Dallas the police officers and the riots that were taken down last night. I think in terms of losing, it does feel like we are all losing a bit of our collective minds in a narrative that seems to be amplified from somewhere. I will say that, and this may peg me as a conspiracy theorist, but I'm just talking to you from a communications standpoint. If you wanted to influence public opinion, incidents, highly publicized incidents have a way of doing that, right? There's, lots of public relations study about how public opinion can be influenced by that. To me, it looks like this sort of divisive narrative is being fed from somewhere, and I could be totally wrong, but there's way too much light on this and it moves like a public relations campaign to me. But the question is, who's the client? And I'm not quite sure about that, because it would have to be somebody whose interests were aligned with making us sort of distrust each other and fear each other and divide. So actually, that doesn't lead to a very pleasant place when you figure it out. But I happen to notice, for the past few years, the PR around this this narrative that's sort of being fed to us, and I think that it's really, really important that we the people sort of keep our heads, and sort of understand that there may just be something else to this that needs to be looked at and addressed, other than just what it looks like on the surface. Fear is a very powerful emotion, and in terms of mankind, it can motivate people to do things that they wouldn't otherwise do. And if you know how to do some of the things that we talk about on this show, if we know how to do some of the branding things, you can introduce people to products, you can drive sales, you can build brands. But on sort of the other side of the fence, a lot of these tactics can be used to do some pretty evil stuff too. And like I said, it does feel to me like there is something behind a lot of the news coverage and the amplification of this narrative that we're seeing. So enough on that one, but I think we all need to just kind of keep our heads, through this, and and not be drawn into anything by too much fear. On the winning side, much more positive, I want to revise kind of what I said last week about Diet Pepsi. Last week they reversed course and said, okay, we're going to go back with the aspartame thing. And I think Pepsi's winning now, because they basically have decided to, they said they did not anticipate the loyalists' love of original Diet Pepsi formula, and really in a move that sort of mimics New Coke, when it came out with Classic Coke. And as I said in last week's show, a lot of people really suspected that was the plan all along. It is entirely possible that was Diet Pepsi's plan as well. Just a way to get people talking about Diet Pepsi was being able to do this aspartame-free thing, and then being able to come back and say, oh, well, so many people really wanted, Diet Pepsi, original Diet Pepsi, that now we have original and aspartame-free. It's interesting, I got to say, but I think that Pepsi is handling it about as well as you can handle it. When Pepsi yanked aspartame, late last year amid consumer health concerns, that, it felt like they were doing the right thing. But then in the wake of a lot of decline of sales, they said, well, wait a minute, we're going to bring it back. And like, as I mentioned in last week's show, that's almost an impossible communication situation, because now you have to tell people the thing that we told you was going to kill you, we're putting it back in the soda. And good luck with that. So now they've got, they kind of just fall back on the idea of choice. If you want aspartame, take it. If you don't have to have it. The only problem it really creates is it fills the supply chain with more SKUs of their soda, and grocery stores have to figure out how to make room and stock 2 different kinds of Pepsi or whatever. So I'd say Diet Pepsi's winning. And I say kudos for handling that situation about as well as you could. Let's talk about Microsoft. Oh, my goodness. A Microsoft University recruiter, and they just recruit young people to come work and program for Microsoft, sent an email out, and it got a lot of social heat for Microsoft. And it's just terrible. I have to read it to you because it's so bad that I don't think I can really paraphrase it appropriately. It says, "Hey, Bay intern," little icon like a smiley face, I think. "Hi, I'm Kim, a Microsoft University recruiter. My crew is coming down from our HQ in Seattle to hang with you and the crowd of Bay Area interns at Internapalooza on July 11th. But more importantly, we're throwing an exclusive after party the night of the event in our San Francisco office, and you're invited. There will be hella noms, lots of dranks with an A, the best beats, and just like last year, we're breaking out the Yammer beer pong tables." And then it says in a different color in all caps, "Hell yes to getting lit on a Monday night." So, okay. Microsoft has apologized for this, and obviously, I mean, they should. You can't represent an organization like Microsoft and use language like that. And you can't say get lit on a Monday night. Stop it. What's the matter with you? Is what I would say. And then Microsoft had to quickly, retract and say that wasn't us. That was this one person. A good lesson in here is the fact that if you're trying to talk to the young people, don't use their language. You can't, and they've set their language up to exclude you on purpose. That's the plan, right? So don't come in and use things like Bay and dranks and hella whatever. Stop it. Don't do stuff like that. You can be fine. Just be Microsoft. You're fine. Just doing that. That'll be enough. Microsoft's losing. Sorry about that. Another losing, all of us are losing, theexaminer.com. Great media outlet. I got a lot of client news published there. I really always enjoyed their take on stuff, and they are shutting down as of July the 10th. They are, and I think all of us lose a bit when we lose a big major media outlet like that. A lot of my friends made freelance income as as reporters, writing for Examiner.com. A lot of people who come and cover the NAMM show were Examiner.com reporters, that kind of stuff. It helped music products companies get the word out a little bit more. So it's a real shame that the Examiner is shutting down. On the winning side of things, I think good storytellers are winning. In the Wall Street Journal this week, they talk about that storytelling is basically just talking about that storytelling make better storytellers live longer, are happier in life and in love. And basically, studies find, and it's an interesting article, I don't have time to dig into the whole thing, but it says studies find the way people tell their own stories has sort of an effect on their overall life satisfaction. So tell stories. That's sometimes the way that you can really illustrate and really engage an audience. There's one real interesting study about storytelling that shows that when people are up there showing off PowerPoints with facts and figures and graphs and things like that, that the participation rate, the mental engagement and participation rate falls like less than 20%. But when they engage people with a story, it climbs to, 85 to 90% of engagement, because we love stories. Make sure your marketing's telling good stories too, and not just always about a sale that we've got going on. Also losing, I would say, are these companies that are now, there's quite a practice of selling Instagram followers. And I see a few sponsored posts a week from companies that say, buy Instagram followers, buy, you celebrities do this and we'll sell you, thousands and thousands of Instagram followers. Don't. Stop it. Seriously. Just like you wouldn't buy your friends and don't, it's not worth it. It's like, why would you pay to have some person you don't have a relationship with and possibly couldn't do anything for your brand follow you on Instagram? That stuff doesn't make any sense to me, right? You should do it the old-fashioned way, which is, make your content so good that you're earning your followers and that you are making your friends out there, that you're listening to people, that you're doing powerful things in people's lives. Make sure that you do that kind of stuff. Don't buy Instagram followers. That's just not a good way to be out there winning. That's a certain way to find yourself losing more often than not. That's who's winning and losing this week. Come on back. We're going to give you some tips for optimal message delivery right here on May the Best Brand Win on Intertalk Radio. See you in a couple.
Which sandwich is healthy and tasty? Which sandwich can come on bread or in a bowl? Which sandwich comes 51 different ways, so it's always your way? A which sandwich. Stop into our shop in Hazard Center. We're upstairs from the Hazard Center Digiplex. Bring in your movie ticket. We will add a free drink and chips to your sandwich order. Or order online at whichwich.com, and we will have it ready and waiting. WHICH, whichwich.com.
Has your business been appified? Are you tired of doing marketing that doesn't deliver results? Mobile apps build loyalty and quality retention. Your app from UPG Mobile puts your business on their mind and at their fingertips. UPG Mobile will give you a custom app highlighting how you are unique, targeting your message, and improving your open rates. Appify your business and amplify your presence with your customers at upgmobilemarketinggroup.com.
Hey, it's Catherine from Listen Local Radio. Moe's Guitars has proudly served the San Diego music community since 1975. Specializing in guitars, basses, mandolins, banjos, and ukuleles, they buy, sell, trade, and consign. If you're looking for lessons, repairs, accessories, and cool gear, you found the right place. Located in downtown La Mesa Village, stop by and check out their digs or visit moesguitars.com or their Facebook page. mozeguitars.com, 619-698-1185.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on Intertalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
Have you ever wondered what it's like to record on a Grammy award-winning album? Have you ever wondered what it's like to play in front of a stadium crowd? Have you ever wondered what it's like to be on a world tour? I'm Jackie Bertoni, and I've played with the who's who in the music industry, and I've toured the world. Come join my world, Behind the Velvet Rope. and get into the groove on Jackie's Groove. Live 2 p.m. Mondays and available 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com.
May the best brand win with Scott Robertson's Music Biz Marketing Strategies. Now, here's your host, Scott Robertson.
Get that message out. Yeah, you are tuned to May the Best Brand Win on Intertalk Radio, the undisputed leader in music biz talk. I'm Scott, still your host, and hopefully a lotto winner. That's what I'm thinking. And with me on the air here is the man making it all work for us all segments long, and it's Paul B. How you doing, man?
I'm good. Good.
You got big plans for the weekend? You playing this weekend?
No. We got an event tomorrow with our sponsor, Pitbull Audio, and
nice.
The guitar player from Ministry.
All right.
So work.
There you go. Fantastic. Well, love the guys at Pitbull Audio. Shout out to them. Very cool. Well, let's dig into it's segment 4 time, and that's when I like to turn the focus entirely to you guys, the listener, and give you a few tips that you can use this week and ongoing, moving forward, for your optimal message delivery. A lot of this is going to be kind of a review of what we talked about, but still very, very important. Number 1, consider that message. That arrow is one of the most important pieces of the communication model. That arrow that you learned in 8th grade that you drew from the sender and receiver right before you were ready to write that love note to that girl that you liked, over there. That arrow, that same one from 8th grade, really important. Really important today. A lot of companies blow it by not getting the arrow right. Make that thing undeniably great for them. Make sure that your message doesn't come from you looking in the mirror. Hey, we're this company, and we offer this many, and we've been in business for such and such years, and we offer blah, 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 blah. If you're talking about yourself, if all the personal pronouns are faced back at you, you've got a gigantic problem with your message, okay? It's all about you. It's not about them. They don't care about you unless it is about them, right? You are more powerful than you think. 2 personal pronouns focused at the user, right? In the same brand tagline for the most powerful and the richest company on planet Earth. Be like them, okay? Very important. Tip number 2, empathy. So many communication problems can be solved by just putting yourself in the audience's shoes. So much of my methodology and my model is about empathy. It's about going, would I want to hear from this sender? At this point, why or why not? Some of the best people in public relations that relate to reporters, some of the reasons that good public relations people used to be reporters, the reasons for that are the reason they're good public relations people are they possess a lot of empathy for what reporters go through, and their pitching is different. Instead of having kind of an assumptive close and going, we have this and it's the greatest thing and it's going to change your life forever, they go, when I was a reporter and I was sitting on that desk, what pitches, what did I need to do my job, right? What did I need? What does my client have potentially that could help this reporter? If you lock those 2 things together, like a key in the lock, that is how you do public relations great, right there. And it's not super complicated. It's not a ridiculously overly complicated kind of thing. It's just empathy. So many communication approaches today lack simple human empathy. And the reason you can tell is that, first of all, they're just not really thought through very well. Really, really, really consider the receiver. Really make sure that tip number 3, consider that receiver. Is this the right target? Why? Why is it the right target? You should be able to utter a sentence that says this is the right target for us. If you can't utter a sentence about why they're on the list, then they shouldn't be on the list, right? Whether it's a group of people, whether it's one person, whether it's what have you. Let's go back to the band email that we all send out, right? It's like, why is this person on here? Well, because they live close by. Because they said they were interested in possibly coming to a show.
Hey, Scott.
Yes, sir.
We flew too high to the sun.
Oh, okay. All right.
Breaking up. Why don't you go ahead and reconnect? Sorry about that, folks. having a little bit of connectivity issues here. But Scott should be back here in just a second. And I think... All right, you're back.
I'm back. Good?
Yep, good.
All right, sorry about that. Tip number 3, make sure that you don't fly too high to the sun. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, we're talking about considering the receiver. Make sure that the person that's on that list is your target. Make sure, and what is the very best way to contact them? Just because you can doesn't mean you should, right? Jurassic Park logic. Just because you have their mobile phone number for something, does that give you the right to text them? Maybe it does. Maybe they've said that's cool. Maybe they said you're offering a contest and they want to enter it, and they're gonna give you that leeway. But consider it. A lot of the violations of privacy that we see in communications, come from we talked about lack of empathy, but they also come from not thinking through the very best way to contact somebody. So when you're considering that other circle over there, you're the sender. You've got your arrow, the receiver, the arrow, the message, and now you've got the receiver. You should absolutely be able to say why these people are the right targets for you. It's very, very, it's very important that you do that kind of thinking. And again, think about what's the very best way to contact them, the way that's going to be the most respectful to them, and the way that's going to build a long-term relationship with them for your brand or your band. Certainly not a good idea to offend the people who might be coming to see your band. Number 4, listen to the feedback that you're getting. We've talked a few in every segment about that other arrow coming back about feedback, but really that's how you know. That's how you know. That's when the reason that the doctor's office takes your vitals when you go in first. The very first thing they do is how much do you weigh? Has there been any change? What is your blood pressure? Let's listen to your heart. Let's do these kind of things. That's feedback, right? They are looking for feedback about, what's going on with you so that they can make a diagnostic decision on what they need to do next. Absolutely, right? Diabetics, check their blood sugar. Why do you stick your hand and pull out blood and check your blood sugar? Because you need to know where it is so that you can know what to do next. If it's too low, the diabetic eats something. If it's too high, the diabetic takes insulin and manages it. But if you do not have the feedback, you are absolutely guessing out there. And there are so many communication approaches that I see that are absolutely guessing. And the irony is that in the age of social media, in sort of our transparent American society here, people will tell you, go to Reddit, go up to your social feeds, tag a few keywords, start listening to what people are actually saying out there. You'd be amazed at how much information can come to you through just simple social searches. And I'm talking free ones. You can pay for the social tools if you want, and there's some smoking ones out there, absolutely. But the free ones are good too if you have decided to go ahead and listen. And then the last tip is to really repeat all of these every single time your brand makes that critical decision to communicate. That doesn't happen enough. That absolutely doesn't happen enough. Just because we're rushed and we're trying to get things done and we're trying to get everything checked off of a list, we're trying to get all these kind of things. And sometimes what gets lost is we're not really thinking about the all of these things. So employ these things when you're the next time you make that decision to communicate. Message delivery, it is as simple today as a couple of circles and some arrows, but it is infinitely complex in how you execute it, and it's critically important to the success of your brand. Many people just want to skip over the fundamentals, just like football, move right on to winning the Super Bowl. They want to move right on to getting that message out there. They just cannot wait, right? But that approach has really led to the messed up world that we live in today. Be different, be better, and you will be part of changing the world of communications one campaign at a time from the inside. You'll be on the side that I'm on. That's it for me. Until next week, you have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you back here next week. Bye-bye.
Hi, Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on Intertalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
Which sandwich is healthy and tasty? Which sandwich can come on bread or in a bowl? Which sandwich comes 51 different ways, so it's always your way? A which sandwich. Stop into our shop in Hazard Center. We're upstairs from the Hazard Center Digiplex. Bring in your movie ticket. We will add a free drink and chips to your sandwich order. Or order online at whichwich.com and we will have it ready and waiting. WHICH, whichwich.com.
Has your business been appified? Are you tired of doing marketing that doesn't deliver results? Mobile apps build loyalty and quality retention. Your app from UPG Mobile puts your business on their mind and at their fingertips. UPG Mobile will give you a custom app highlighting how you are unique, targeting your message, and improving your open rates. Appify your business and amplify your presence with your customers at upgmobilemarketinggroup.com.
Have you ever wondered what it's like to record on a Grammy award-winning album? Have you ever wondered what it's like to play in front of a stadium crowd? Have you ever wondered what it's like to be on a world tour? I'm Jackie Bertoni, and I've played with the who's who in the music industry, and I've toured the world. Come join my world, Behind the Velvet Rope, and get into the groove on Jackie's Groove. Live 2 p.m. Mondays and available 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com.
Hey, it's Catherine from Listen Local Radio. Moe's Guitars has proudly served the San Diego music community since 1975. Specializing in guitars, basses, mandolins, banjos, and ukuleles, they buy, sell, trade, and consign. If you're looking for lessons, repairs, accessories, and cool gear, you found the right place. Located in downtown La Mesa Village, stop by and check out their digs or visit moesguitars.com or their Facebook page. mozeguitars.com, 619-698-1185.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. Pitbullaudio.com.